The Finder newspaper says Dr. Bawumia to deliver keynote address at Nottingham University Africa Policy Dialogues. Also, Goa wins Best Corporate Governance category at Millennium Excellence Awards. Ofuasia Yobe MP provides First Medical Theatre to support First Doctor. That's Kojo Ponkroma there, as Minister for Information. Court of Appeal dismisses ANI's stay of execution of application, and you know that they've been having that back and forth with Springfield. Post-event receptions banned, all events to be held in the open for 2 hours, and $25 million seed fund for National Vaccine Institute. That's what the President of the Republic said. The Daily Graphic: President reinforces COVID-19 restrictions, ban on post-event receptions, mass gatherings last for 2 hours, and Noguchi sounds alarm bell over invisible, Delta variant. Reclaim mining sites for farming. Council of State chairman is calling for. What's on the back page? Has Ash Gold, others in MTN FA Cup semis. Also Gold Stars, Accra Lions, RTU for the Premier League. BNFT, what's there? It says SNIT under Act 247 and the three-tier pension scheme at the crossroads. That's what a very beautiful article there. If you are a contributor of SNIT or to SNIT, you should be reading this one. Mid-year budget review, reinstate 17.5% get fund NHIL to former status, according to a tax analyst. We get to see if Ken Oforiatta will play by this on Thursday. Also, transparency on GES rebuilding confidence in the financial sector. NPRA Deputy CEO says so. Scrap planting for food and job fertilizer subsidies. Peasant farmers, dealers not interested in the scheme because they say subsidies already declined to 38% in 2021 from 50% in 5 years. And bonds market to see new indices by the end of the year. The Economic Times: Ghana's public debt rises to 332.4 billion Ghana cedis. IMF calls for fiscal consolidation to address debt and rollover risks. And Bank of Ghana likely to hold policy rate at 13.5%. The Republic Press: Government to establish girls' STEM SHS in Accra. Security analyst urges president to confirm Akufu Dampare as substantive IGP. He was a father to all. John Mahama eulogizes Professor Atamils at the night relaying ceremony. Trouble looms as Noguchi warns of serious COVID-19 outbreak, and slain cop laid to rest. Pastor and wife also have been killed. What does the Daily Guide say? It says, we are fighting demons, principalities, says Bawumia. UPSA honors Napo with an honorary doctorate degree, and slain cop in bullion van robbery buried. 1,842 degree holding police officers have been promoted. The doctors, the nurses, the teachers are asking for same pleasantries. The Ghanaian Times: New anti-LGBT bill proposes 10-year jail term for offenders. Ofuasia Yobe MP provides First Medical Theatre to support First Doctor. Also, Cosmos Energy, in their fight against COVID-19, supports the Ghana Health Service with $50,000 cold van for transportation of vaccines. Also, VIP decries demons and principalities in the public service. Let's exercise them. COVID-19 resurgence, Delta variant lethal, spreads faster. Noguchi warns, spike hits 423 new cases. My guest in studio, two members of parliament. The Honorable Alasan Suhini is the member of parliament for the good people of Tamale North constituency, and also Vincent Asifua is a member of parliament for the good folks at the Old Tafo constituency. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going? How was the weekend?
Alhamdulillah, survived it.
You survived it? You survived it too?
Absolutely. But this weekend, in Old Tafo constituency, we had a very important ceremony to cut a sod for the construction of a children's ward, and that is out of the benevolence of the National Youth Organizer. This ceremony was under the auspices of the Office of the municipal and the member of parliament to make sure that at least we will be able to host such an important ceremony. And so let me thank the National Youth Organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Lawyer Henry Nanabuache, for giving back to the society. And if you read Matthew chapter 25, verse 31, it says that whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you've done that unto me. And so it's not just about going to church. It's not just about saying hallelujah, hallelujah. But when I was hungry, did you come and give me food? When I was thirsty, did you give me water? When I was in prison, did you come to visit me?
I see.
If you're able to do all these, then in my estimation and per my judgment, you've been able to do what God desires or God expects all of us to be able to do. And so I thank Lawyer Henry Nanabuache for such a good job that he did yesterday in Otafo constituency.
I see.
Otafo constituency is also grateful to him.
I see. There's sustained funding for this project.
Well, this is out of his own benevolence. If you check the background of it, it is because today's his birthday actually. Let me say a very happy birthday to him. And so it is on his 40th birthday that he decided that he would do this to support.
And he has assured you that he has the money to complete.
He's going to do that within a year. Yesterday we did some fundraising. A number of the guests who came also pledged support. I think just yesterday we had about 200,000 at the ceremony, and so clearly he himself is also soliciting for funds from other people to make sure that within a year we will be able to commission the children's ward at the Tafo Government Hospital.
We hear you. Thank you very much. We'll be checking 1 year on to see whether or not the thing is there. But congratulations to him. Suhini, why are you laughing?
Well, it's very typical of you to give that warning that you'll be checking in 1 year's time.
That's my only job.
That's my only job. Which is good. I mean, I think that we should have more of such tracking mechanisms. It puts pressure on the people who make some of these promises, and I think it is good pressure because it enables them to also work to deliver on their promises, and the society is the better for it. So all I'll say is happy 40th to Nana B.
Sure. Let's start, because you were formerly at the Education Ministry. I want us to spend the first 2-3 minutes on this one, then we can jump into COVID issues. National service is ending. The thing that hit me this morning is, where do they turn? Where are the jobs? Where do they go? Are we going to have another backlog of unemployed young people? What's the plan? Do we have any?
Well, let me say a very good morning to your cherished viewers. I was actually the national president for national service when I was having my national service.
Right.
Every year, what we do is that the National Service Personnel Association, in collaboration with businesses, organizations, institutions that is having the capacity to be able to recruit, organizes this job fair. We do so to showcase our national service persons to the organizations as to what they can also do in their various capacity. Mind you, over the period, we've had these challenges or these problems with the fact that entities have been recruiting national service persons when they come there with ill-trained capacities, and for that matter, they'll have to retrain them. And so the National Service Personnel Association decided that you will have a period after their national service to be able to train them, sometimes even a week, so that they will be well prepared for the opportunities that is available. And so I know that government has a role to play. The national service persons also has a role to play. It is not just about opportunities in the government sector, but the thinking that there could be some entrepreneurs among them. And so people will have to know that yes, government will play a role, organizations and institutions will also play a role, but they themselves should also play a role. When I completed national service, I never wrote any letter, not even a single letter, to any institution that I was looking for a job, because I knew that that will not be the kind of job that probably I want.
Maybe
because
you
I
were
wanted to do.
connected, so.
No, because I was just schooling and just doing business. That is what I've been doing ever since I completed school. In fact, my first job was when I entered the Ministry of Education in 2018. And so I will urge them. I know we are in difficult times, and it is not only in Ghana, globally. We are having issues of job creation because of the impact of COVID-19 and what have you. And so I will urge national service persons to also think outside the box and know that it is possible that they can also be entrepreneurs in this nation.
Hey, Sweeney, we're back to the cycle again. And this weekend, it hit me so hard again that last year we had a backlog. The previous year, same. We are going to have some. Between July and August, you will have plenty of them. Qualified with degrees, diplomas, HND, whatever it is, but they can't find the jobs to do.
Yeah, Johnny, it's disturbing, and anybody who cares about the future of this country, every now and then, will obviously have such thoughts, running through your minds. If you consider the number of tertiary institutions we have across the country, and the graduates that they churn out every year, who in the meantime are contained by the requirement of national service, but are thrown into the job market immediately after national service every year, without the opportunity of getting immediate employment, you will obviously be worried. And that is why, for people like us in public office, charged with the responsibility of creating opportunities and making our country better, we focus more on solutions that are long-lasting, solutions that are pragmatic, not just tokenism. And so when we discuss the issues of job creation, we need to know that the solution we provide must just go beyond its ability to win us votes, because it is so dire that if we are not very careful, it's going to consume us. Many people will tell you that Africa has the potential because of its youth bulge, the fact that the population of youth seem to be higher. That is the workforce, but it is also, if you like, a ticking bomb, because if you do not harness those energies and properly direct them and put them to good use, it can explode in our faces. And that is why the discussion around creating opportunities for that population should not just be reduced to mere partisanship. For example, when we talk about skills development, we should really mean it, and we should really be committed to giving opportunity to people who will want to develop their skills, because it is that avenue that exists for us now, because we are a developing nation. We tend to have a lot of opportunities in the skills market, where a lot of things are required to be produced and manufactured. But when we discuss CODVET, when we discuss the need to make the technical and vocational education free,
TVET, right?
TVET, we must really mean it. And we must be committed to putting structures in place to making it useful to those who will want to use that option. And when we talk about job creation, we should also be looking at, for example, the infrastructure that will support the job creation. For example, when you build more hospitals, you are giving opportunities to more nurses to be employed to provide good health. When you even do as little as construct the roads in communities, you give entrepreneurs the opportunity to begin to even start small and medium scale businesses by the roadside. Let's not
use all the time on this, but if you're a national service personnel out there, you are completing your national service to your country, Ghana. Tell us what your options are at this point. Have you secured a job? Has somebody promised you a job? Do you have some capital to start something on your own? How do you propose to survive and thrive after your regular national service with your national service allowance that has come to you? What are your options? Let's know. Our WhatsApp line is active, and you can also hashtag us winning. Let me begin this with I know you're one of the proponents of the LGBTQIA plus anti-gay bill in Parliament. You have heard the commentary, and I'm telling people that, for example, Parliament doesn't operate on social media, and a bill is not a law. So that if you have reservations, you put it on paper, and then in a memorandum or a petition, bring it to Parliament, to the Speaker, and then help to shape the bill into law. It will go through a process. What have you heard? What do you say?
Well, Johnny, let me first and foremost indicate that I do not think that the bill is before Parliament as we speak. I also think that the discussion may not be necessary now, because
Why?
the Criminal Offences Act, Section 104, clearly criminalizes some of these acts.
How does it do it? Demonstrate it.
Because when it defines what we call unnatural carnal knowledge.
Right.
And for me, that suffices that it criminalizes LGBTQ in this country. Now, my point is that we have pressing issues to deal with.
Which are?
Issues of job creation,
Okay.
dealing with COVID-19, rebalancing our economy. We need to be focused in dealing with some of these issues. Making LGBTQ topical may have dire consequences for us as a nation.
How so?
Because I believe that it is much ado about nothing.
Really?
Absolutely, because I'm laying the premise that
I'm listening to you.
the Criminal Offences Act already criminalizes this.
Section 104, you mean?
Section 104.
Okay.
Every Ghanaian, and I think around this table, all of us agrees that LGBTQ is not something that any parliamentarian is going to argue that it should be legalized in this country. No. I am saying that we have pressing issues that we have to deal with as a nation. Job creation issues, pandemic that we have to deal with. But making the bill, or if you like, as you said, the bill on social media and what have you, I don't think that is a way to go. It is actually putting Ghana on a certain image. It is giving it a certain image that may not assist Ghana to be able to rebound from the impact of COVID-19, for us to be able to create more jobs.
Are you expressing fear? I'm trying to get what you're expressing now.
Johnny, just last week, government had to, or if you like, Parliament had to approve a loan of about 200 million just for the impact of COVID, or if you like, to be able to buy vaccines and what have you. These are monies that are coming from a certain source, right? The source, as we are all aware, have been championing LGBTQ for a lot of years, or for a number of times, as we are all aware. Now, if the source at a point get livid or get jittery because the people who are giving you, or the people that they are trying to help with some of these monies, are not buying into their philosophy, it is having, or it is going to have, dire consequences on us as a nation. The point I want to make is
why is Ghana beyond aid afraid to lose aid? That's what the president says. Says Ghana beyond aid.
Ghana beyond aid.
The money is here. That we have it. The vice president said. Let me put my question, please. So, president says Ghana beyond aid. The vice president said, I previously worked at the Bank of Ghana I know where the money is. We are sitting on the money.
2016, right?
The president also spoke about the fact that yet is a castle into accommodate. Now, this is a fine opportunity perhaps to actualize the Ghana Beyond Aid. So why are you expressing fear? Why is Ghana Beyond Aid afraid of losing aid?
There's a missing gap from the narrative that you just gave.
Okay, fill the blank.
The missing gap is that before 2019, the economic growth for Ghana was about 6.8, 6.9 thereabout. In 2016, when we came, economic growth was just about 2.3, 2.4. What it means is that as a nation, from 2017 to 2019, we've been able to build, or if you like, grow the economy. Inflation rate, 15.4 that we came to meet. At the time, or if you like, before COVID, we've been able to make it a single-digit inflation. So the economy was doing well. The missing gap is that there has been an impact of COVID.
Okay.
And the impact of COVID clearly cannot be overlooked. And so, yes, the president spoke about the fact that there's Ghana Beyond Aid. The Ghana Beyond Aid didn't mean that Ghana Beyond Aid now, but a process. And that process was what we were on before 2018 until the impact of COVID. So let's not lose fact of the fact that, yes, there's a process for us as a nation to go beyond aid. But we are not there yet.
Are you suggesting to me now that if, for example, we are able to bounce back as a country from the pressure of COVID-19 based on whatever aid we get now, maybe in future we will be ready to pass this LGBTQIA plus bill?
I have not said so.
Okay, so what
I have
are you
already
saying?
told you that our laws already criminalizes LGBTQ. Section 104 of the Criminal Offences Act defines unnatural carnal knowledge. And to me, unnatural carnal knowledge, as per the definition in the Act, is synonymous to what the bill seek to achieve. Okay. So I'm saying that it is.
So you don't support the bill?
I support it in substance. I support it in principle.
Which part do you support?
I'm saying I'm supporting it in principle. The bill is not already in Parliament. Right. This is the draft.
But you have read the draft.
Yes, I'm saying that I support it in principle.
Okay.
In principle that we need to criminalize LGBTQ.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
LGBTQ, per my understanding, is what has been captured under Section 104 of the Criminal Offences Act. Why do we have to worry ourselves and make it topical?
So you say we should focus on other things.
Job creation, impact of COVID-19, how we'll be able to rebalance our economy. These are pressing issues for us as a nation. However, if it comes to Parliament, all of us are going to support this bill. But I don't think that this is it is something that it should be.
My final question, if this is your posture, then the guys who said fix the country were right after all, because the initial responses that they got that said fix yourself and all of that was not palatable then, because they were asking for the same things you are saying we should focus on now and leave the LGBTQIA plus bill or draft. They were asking for it, and you told them that they should fix themselves. Not you in particular, but they were told to go and fix themselves.
I have always supported.
Now we are being told that we have pressing issues, including the things that they spoke about. So we should focus on it and leave the bill.
I've always supported the Fix the Country debate.
I'm not talking about you as an individual.
In fact, most of us, we have always been supporting Fix the Country. Why? After COVID-19 and its impact. Is it not clear that we have a country to fix?
So you didn't support the fix?
It is undebatable.
You didn't support
that we have
the
a
fix
country
yourself
to fix
mantra? You didn't support it?
Why? If you go to your communities and there are dustbins, yet you decide to put rubbish around, don't you have to fix yourself first?
Okay. Sweetie, you are one of the proponents of this bill. There's Sam George, there's Misoa, Dafia Mapo is there, there's Helen Tosso, Reverend Tim Fojo, and who else? There's about 7 or so of you. There's Manuel Bejra as well. Why are you doing this at this time when we have other things to fix, like Vincent is saying?
Well, Johnny, thank you. I think that it's running a country, governing a country is a shared responsibility. We all have roles that we have to play. as members of parliament, we largely do government business. And so it is government's business to fix, the water system, to fix unemployment, the issue that we just discussed.
Right.
It is government business to fix the water crisis. It's government business to make sure that businesses operate profitably and not overtaxed. Those are the responsibility of government. I mean, a member of parliament cannot, by our laws, initiate any, bill in parliament that will create a cost on the consolidated fund. You can't do that.
Right.
And the way to fix any of these things will require some funds. I mean, even if you are going to say that taxes are reduced for companies so that they can expand and employ people, that is a cost on the consolidated fund, and it has to come from the Minister of Finance and not a mere member of parliament like myself. But with the private members bill, there are issues that we can also fix as members of parliament that will not require any money from the consolidated fund. And we see this bill as one of those things, because we are talking about a society that, have morals that should not be allowed to decay, values that must be supported and encouraged and, transmitted to generations yet unborn.
Against the human rights of others.
And when I hear, Johnny, you see, yesterday I wrote this on social media. I have been following the discussion. In fact, I have followed more than I have spoken. Because, you see, I keep an open mind in all issues. So even though this is my belief, I want to listen to other views. And I agree with Vincent that this is a draft bill. And anybody who understands lawmaking knows that it is a draft that generates all the needed debate and discussion, leading to a final fine print that addresses all concerns. So I have been listening more so that I could enrich my knowledge when it comes to considering the bill based on the knowledge that I pick from the discussions, knowledge I didn't have. I will see how we can fine-tune this bill. But Johnny, all I get are insults, scorn, intimidation, threats, as if that is what will silence everybody and coerce us and force us to submit. I mean, that is not the way to go. With all due respect to all those who have disagreements, I want a reasoned argument against the positions that we have espoused. But to call people illiterates, to call them backwards, to call them, all kinds of unprintable words, and then you are going through the thread and hoping that maybe the person is angry.
Right.
And so maybe after the insults, you get some, reasonable arguments against it. But you get nothing. So it's just about ridicule, it's just condemnation, it's just scorn. But you see, let's be fair.
So Gabi Asara-Shudaku says, for example, that
Johnny,
you are doing all of these to get Ghana on a certain blacklist and put us in a difficult situation, like Echo Vincent is also suggesting. That there are things to be done. Allow the country to run and stop putting spokes in the wheels of the driver.
I don't think that it deserves any dignified response. Johnny, Vincent talks about the Criminal Code 104.
Right.
The Criminal Code 104, Section 104, talks about unnatural carnal knowledge.
Right.
It just says unnatural carnal knowledge and goes to define unnatural carnal knowledge as, something that is not natural. That's how it puts it. Now, lawyers have debated this. I mean, because the definition of what is natural is subjective.
Right.
So a lot of lawyers have debated this to say that specifically does not address the question of LGBTQ+. Because what is considered unnatural is debatable, it's subjective. I mean, because it's morning TV, I cannot use some examples.
Right, we cannot.
You understand? But we all know, I mean, what can be unnatural depending on the exposure level that you have. So it doesn't address LGBTQ. So what we have decided to do, one, is to protect, you know, our generations. For example, we are seeking to ensure that people do not promote they don't have the free will to promote LGBTQ plus. They don't have the free will to promote it.
You are curtailing their human rights, they say.
No. We are saying that they should not have the right to promote it to our children. And you know what that prevents? Remember, in this country, we discussed some time ago the possible introduction of it in our curriculum.
CSE, that you know.
Do you understand? So this bill seeks to make it, to prohibit such an act.
Then you go ahead to say they can't even go and adopt.
I'm coming.
So they say you are infringing on their human rights.
I'll address the issue of human rights, but let's the discussion be very reasoned so that people will follow what we are trying to do. You cannot find that in Section 104.
Okay.
Section 104 does not prohibit promotion of LGBTQ.
Right. It just talks about the act.
It just talked about the act, which in itself is debatable. But this one tells you that once you can promote it, you can't even consider, you can't even tell us to consider introducing it in our syllabus. Do you get the argument that we are making? We are also saying, yes, they will not be permitted from adopting children. They should not be permitted from adopting children. Because you see, it's about procreation.
But procreation is not for everybody.
And when we were in school, we used to say, NC, no contribution, no choice. If there is any, reason beyond your control, why you cannot recreate, you can't produce, it is understandable for you to want to support society by adopting less privileged ones, to give them the love that you have so much. But if you have made the decision not to continue, life, we don't think that you should, because you see, you will adopt these children and you may end up training them in the way that you are also practicing. We also are, in fact, in this bill, we have even called for support and protection for them. That's why I want to follow the discussion. We have even said that people who are in this situation need our love, they need our protection, and there are provisions in this law that makes it easy for them to even access health care.
It does appear that they...
Do you understand?
Some say it does appear that the bill or draft are taking a religious stand.
No.
A bit of Islam, a bit of Muslim.
And that is,
comes together to
Johnny,
say we don't like this.
So Johnny, this is not a human rights issue.
What is it then?
This is, in my view, a choice. It's an issue of choice. People have made their choices.
Okay.
And so it's like making a choice to be polygamous. Do you understand? We cannot go to UK or the US and advocate polygamy as a human rights issue. Nobody is going to take you serious there, because it's a choice. It's a life choice that you make, and once their laws do not support polygamy, you cannot go and say that it is my human rights that I must marry 4 wives, and so your laws must be amended to accommodate that life choice. It's not a human rights question. Okay. It's not a question of human rights. Okay. Now, what we have, so let me just wrap up on this note. You see, like I said, I keep an open mind on this issue. I have noticed that there are 3 points of view. 3 points.
Okay.
So you have those who argue from the point of faith.
Right.
They are Christians. They are Muslims. And clearly, you cannot have a true Christian who adheres to the Bible, subscribe to this practice. I mean, clearly, unless, of course, the person is 50-50 or not really religious. But if you are a Christian you will abhor it because your religion does not allow it. If you are Muslim, you will not support it. That's the first point of view.
Right.
Then you have the human rights point of view. Now, the human rights point of view makes the point that these are people who, despite, their conduct, should still be entitled to certain level of dignity and, some rights as human beings. And I see nothing wrong with that argument. Why? Because even when an armed robber is arrested, that armed robber, in my view, is still entitled to some rights. Even when you have a prisoner, treated without dignity, it affronts the human rights of that.
Right.
Exactly. So human rights are universal.
Okay.
And so people who are engaged in this act must not be denied that right of protection to life, to health, and to their dignity. They must not be denied that.
What's the third phase?
Now, the third phase has to do with those who say that we are progressives, and so anything goes. You understand? But even if you are progressive, I want to understand, how this practice, for example, does not infringe on our public health as a country. Because the data now shows that it does. In fact, they are the highest when it comes to HIV infections in this country. And some of them, we are told, actually have multiple partners and are also heterosexual. So from the public health angle, they are a threat.
Okay.
From the moral angle, they are a threat. From the religious angle, they are a threat. I want to hear the argument.
Is the word threat that they don't like? Because in one break,
so maybe I'm wrong.
You are calling for a protection.
No, they are not a threat.
Then on the flip side,
they are not a threat. Their practice is a threat.
Is a threat. Okay.
So I have always said that.
I get it. I'll come to you. I'll give you a minute. Let's
Johnny, I've always said that love love who is doing wrong, but not what is wrong.
Okay.
Somebody can be doing wrong and still be entitled to your love, but not what is wrong.
You know that even the 1992 Constitution itself is not exhaustive.
Yeah, I agree.
All our laws cannot be exhaustive. That is why Article 11 of the 1992 Constitution demands that there are case laws. Now, it is when the case laws comes to play that the judiciary or the judges has the cause to be able to interpret. And all these things that you are saying, though I do not disagree that the bill, when it comes to Parliament, is apt or is good, but there are case laws that have been able to deal with all these issues that you are saying, though it is not expressly stipulated in the law. That is the Criminal Offences Act. And so that point will have to be made clear.
Right, thank you. Bella, welcome. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
Thank you. Right conversation. Whichever side you find yourself, you face some vilification one way or the other. But, well, let's move on and read some messages. Good morning, Johnny. I'm a frontline health worker. The promises made by the president a year ago relative to insurance packages for frontline health workers who got infected during their line of duty has still not been fulfilled. The government must fulfill its promise and address it as such, because the morale of those affected frontline health workers is really going down. That's Herman from Kumasi. Good morning, Senior Johnny, and to all TV3 crew. To be frank, Brother Johnny, may God bless you for your courageous work. This government is very talkative. They can talk without walking the talk. Even when they say something, they forget about it, that they've said it in the past. Only God can help us through this wicked government. Okay, that's from Kotoka Courage inside Anloga Lashibi in the Volta region. Good morning, TV3. The government should just be truthful to Ghanaians for once. We can't be fooled all the time. I can tell you for a fact that the Tatale border in the northern region has always been open to people in and from Togo. It's never been closed. Foreigners pass through it and come in and out of the country. We're just tired of the deceit. That's Idris from Yendi. Good morning, Johnny. I wonder why we attribute the spread of the virus on the activities to the activities of the poor Ghanaian. We expect citizens to respect the laws and protocols, but when the government and political parties are having their programs, they ignore everything. Our leaders should understand that one day Okrasini any better. Okay. Johnny, we live in a country where yield levels are increased based on assumptions, where fertilizer use are cooked and based on apparent consumption, where the success of the Planting for Food and Jobs is cooked and based on assumptions. The jobs created under the program are figmentally imagined, where the program is not scientifically assessed, but politically assessed, where the statistical office under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture churns out different yield levels, while the PFJ Secretariat has its own yield levels with no back data. Farmers are suffering. Good morning, Bella. I'm advising my fellow brothers in NDC and MPP to fear Allah in everything they do. We will all die and meet our Creator, and we shall account for everything we acquired, be it halal or haram, means lawful and unlawful ways. One thing our leaders should know is that they are representing God on earth. They will account for everything to Allah. They are there to complete God's uncompleted assignments for Him. Ghana is blessed with all of the world's mineral resources to make Ghana a better and better place for us to live in. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Abu, Spain, inside Medina. Johnny, good morning. National service is good, but for the allowances given to save and start a business which is not viable, ideas should be sorted from completing students to support their entrepreneurial skills. Most of us have the intention but no capital. Cross from South La. Ghanaians must focus on the contract signed by the company working at the airport's COVID-19 test. Okay, that's the Frontiers Healthcare Services. It says, my regards to the Northern Regional NDC Vice Chairman Alhaji Hassan Rufai Velim. That's Osman Bukurisung in Tamale. Johnny, I'm a service personnel in the teaching sector and about to finish our week celebration. Sincerely speaking, I'm very nervous about getting a job. I'm pleading with government to open portals for us to apply for jobs and even NACO portals for us. We kindly, NAPCO you mean, we kindly need jobs after serving the nation. Samuel Eche from Akachi. Good morning, TV3. I completed nursing training college in 2019 and I finished my national service this year in April, and there's no job for us to do, nor the government employing us. My humble appeal is that even after national service, the NSS should still be supporting us with the allowances till we're employed. We're still home. That's Clenam in Ho. And finally, good morning, Johnny. You cannot take away the credits from governments for the prudent management of the pandemic. It is internationally certified and stamped that Ghana is doing well in the COVID-19 fight. I'm praying for the unlikely event NDC wins power one day to really check your posture and unnecessary rants every morning. There are lots of good things happening. But your lenses, your biased lenses wouldn't see them. Johnny,
Thank you very much. I started practicing journalism long before Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo became president. And after he served his 8-year term, I'll still be a journalist. I started this a long time ago, almost 20 years ago. So my posture, if you want to know, thanks to Facebook and Twitter, you can go back 10, 15 years, 10, 12 years, maybe 11 years, and go and check what my posture has always been. The question is to be asked to those who hold power, those who hold our taxes, and we ask them. It doesn't make sense to be asking the opposition why the vaccines are not here. It makes sense to ask the government where the vaccines are. And we're asking these questions for you, the citizens, because you cannot be here. So if we're asking for you and you think that it is partisan, then the problem is us. Very soon the journalists will shut up and we'll see who will be speaking for you. But I want to take you to the president's speech yesterday. And something that he said the global shortage of vaccines means that we must develop our capacity to produce our own vaccines domestically and reduce our dependence on foreign supplies. We must be self-sufficient in this regard in future and prepare ourselves better to deal with any such occurrences in the future. To this end, the committee are established under the leadership of the world-renowned Ghanaian scientist, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, to investigate Ghana's potential as a vaccine manufacturing hub to meet national and regional needs, has presented this preliminary report, which, among others, recommends the establishment of a national vaccine institute to spearhead this development. Government has committed to inject seed funding of some $25 million to this job for this whole enterprise. The institute will be charged to delivering 6 clear mandates: one, establishing a local vaccine manufacturing plants, deepening research and development, forging bilateral and multinational partnerships, building human resource base for vaccine discovery, and establishing a permanent national secretariat to coordinate vaccine development and manufacture. Take a listen to Dr. Yaw Bediako on this set on the 25th of February 2021. I asked him a specific question as to whether, as a country, we're ready to produce vaccines. He is with the West Africa Center for Cell Biology and all of that. he was specific because they had done the genome sequencing. You remember in the early days, they had done genome sequencing. The whole world was talking about it, one of the first. But the real problem is this. Take a listen to Dr. Yaobediako.
Still get infected. So till the virus is eliminated, we still have to practice mask wearing and social distancing and the hygiene protocols. So that's why I think vaccine is the tool we need to really get on top of it and to eliminate this. But we still have to practice these protocols probably for the next, I mean, we'll be doing this for at least a year till we can say that SARS-CoV-2 virus is eliminated from Ghana. Then perhaps, hopefully we'll still keep washing our hands, because I think that's been a really useful thing to add to our practices.
So somebody says, look, our scientists are good in this country. They've been able to confirm that the vaccines coming in are good. But then our scientists have not been able to use that same route to manufacture vaccines. So our scientists repairers of what is broken rather than trying to manufacture something new. So like you have an electronics person, set up a small shed. He's an expert in fixing fans and irons and everything. But if you ask him to manufacture, he can't manufacture. Is that what we are doing?
I don't think it is that we can't. I mean, as an immunologist, I train in the US. My training and that of colleagues of mine at the University of Ghana is on par with anything anybody else has. The challenge we have, vaccines are extremely expensive to make. The research that leads to even discovering the vaccine is extremely expensive. And unfortunately, in this country, up to this point, we have not had sufficient investment in our research capacity. We think of research, we think of Noguchi, we think of WACBIP, KCCR. These are places that do really important work, but largely are funded from overseas. Noguchi is largely supported by the Japanese government. KCCR by the German government. WACBIP, we have money from the World Bank, from Wellcome Trust, from Gates. So there has not been a culture over the last, I would say, 30 years of investing sufficiently in research capacity.
Okay.
This event has finally removed the lid and shown how little local capacity we have. We have smart people, and we have people who are working hard. But to be able to, the work we typically do is, yes, we do some vaccine development. I've been working in malaria up until this point. The malaria work we do is the preliminary preclinical work that would identify some potential targets. But to take that to vaccine development is a very expensive and a very technically challenging pathway. And that requires investment in capacity. So I'm hoping, we can't do anything about it right now. We're not going to develop a COVID vaccine in Ghana, because we just are too far behind. But hopefully this can be the motivating factor to drive greater investment in capacity, so that when another event happens, we can respond. The sequencing work we've done is a result of building capacity. We did not buy genomic sequencers to sequence SARS-CoV-2. It didn't exist. But because we had built some of that capacity, we could sequence, and that has been a very important thing.
Right.
There are a number of African
countries. That was in the very early days.
Yeah, well, we are still sequencing. I mean, we have to continue sequencing because the variants of the virus are shifting. You've heard what happened in South Africa, where they got AstraZeneca vaccine. They determined that AstraZeneca vaccine was not as effective against the particular variant they have in South Africa. Thankfully, we currently do not see large numbers of that variant in Ghana. We mostly have the quote-unquote UK identified variant, which responds to the AstraZeneca vaccine. So, but we are keeping on sequencing. But the capacity to sequence is not something that anybody can get up and learn how to. It takes, it's quite technically challenging. That is capacity that was built in Ghana that many African countries around us don't have. And we're able to now adapt that to apply to this pandemic. The same has to be done in terms of other areas of science so that we can develop our own vaccines. Right now, we don't have the infrastructure.
Have you been asking for it?
Oh,
because when people like you, Professor Binka, all of the great guys, you go to WHO, they consult you, you do work for them around the world. Then you come home and everybody says, but what are our scientists doing? Have you asked for it?
Oh, I believe we have. I believe right now, actually, there has been a National Research Fund bill in Parliament for, I think, over 3 years. The idea being we need to have regular government support for research. The way the US is funded by the NIH. The NIH has, over $100 billion budget every year of public money that is purely.
So this is the problem. The problem is that we have not supported. The bill is in Parliament. I don't know what's happening to it, but we seem to be dancing around the issue. This is the scientist talking. This one is not English, it's science and data. So why are we speaking English when we know the problem?
Well, you could clearly see from his commentary that he never said that it is not possible at all. He said that there's little that we have to show, and it is going to be very difficult for us to be able to be a nation that will be producing vaccines. I am happy that the president has been proactive. It's very commendable to allocate 25 million for the purposes of the 6 things that he has charged the committee chaired by Professor Watson. And it is also inclusive of the fact that research is going to play a very critical role in ensuring that we'll be able to be a nation that will be producing vaccines. See, when you check the contract that was between Ministry of Health representing Ghana and Al Maktoum, Ghana was expecting that we will be able to procure about 20 million doses. There is a company called Erogov who had to pay 5 billion to the Russian government to purchase about 50 million doses from the Russian government. At the time that Ghana was also having a contract with the Russian government, later the Russian government had to communicate back to Ghana that there is now going to be an entity which is going to be an interface between the Russian government and the Ministry of Health.
Bottom line?
The bottom line is that if we had the capacity to be producing ourselves, we need not have gotten to the end whereby Al Maktoum had to now cancel the contract and said that he's no more in the capacity to supply the vaccines to Ghana because Erogov had now paid about 5 billion. That is huge cash. Okay. Maybe Ghana was not having that capacity.
So Dr. Bediako suggests that this is all a futuristic plan.
Yes.
Because you need to build on it. The president yesterday announced a $25 million capital injection, intention to inject. Question now is that a year ago, President promised us 88 district hospitals to be completed in a year. That's in August. Those hospitals are not up yet. We have not seen the blocks being...
It's ongoing.
Now, so question is, can the people of Ghana trust the president when there's an outstanding promise that has not been achieved? Can we trust the president and take him serious on this?
We trust the president
and take him serious on it.
We trust the president to be able to deliver.
Where are the hospitals?
We trust the president to be able to deliver on that. I've already told you that the process is ongoing. The construction is ongoing. We have already secured the funds. We have.
You give us 1 year.
Absolutely.
1 year is next month.
It's better late than never. It's better late than never. Okay. So I have absolute trust in the president to be able to deliver on the National Vaccine Institute.
I hear you. So let me give you a minute on this one. You heard the doctor.
Well, if it is a
the
minute.
Immunologist. Do you trust the president to deliver on this one?
Johnny, if it is a minute, I will tell you what happened last night. I was very excited in the evening. You know why?
No.
Because Real Tamale United, the RTU, had qualified and returned to the Premier League. I was so excited about that qualification, and I want to thank all the players and the management of the team and all those who supported the team to come this far. And I want to thank Brekum Arsenal especially for
you're not talking about the president.
Their ability to not to be swayed, but to hold and play, very well.
So
which enabled RTU to return to the league. We left.
Are you ignoring the president?
RTU actually left the league in 2013, Johnny. 2013. I mean, it's such a big deal. I was so happy.
The sports guys.
And then the president. And then
10 minutes.
Johnny, I'm coming. I was so excited. I was so excited in the evening about that. Then the president's address, I was looking forward to it to add to my joy. Unfortunately, it depressed me I mean, just listening to him was so depressing. Johnny, and my brother just talked about the Russian Sputnik V vaccine. This is the president who, in his last address, told us that we were going to get 1.3 million Sputnik V vaccines by May. May. Johnny, isn't it insulting to us that after 10 weeks he returns and he doesn't even say a word about that? Isn't it insulting to us? No, I mean, I felt so insulted. And I felt so helpless that I have such a president that can feel, that can just feel disrespect towards us.
But the president said we're working towards getting
there. Johnny, he told us about Sputnik V.
Okay.
And he said 1.3 will come in May. If there are problems, all he needs to do to show respect to us is to explain to us.
Okay, thank you.
Not to disrespect us in the way he did. He doesn't care.
Thank you.
I mean, I've told you 1.8 hasn't come.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Johnny. But there's a policy dialogue today.
Okay.
I'm sure you know about it.
Okay.
The policy dialogue on the economy.
Okay.
At the UPSA. The minority will be holding a policy dialogue on the economy at the UPSA. It will be live on a number of platforms.
Thank you. Our time is up. We're going. Tomorrow we'll talk about the District Assembly League table. I know that some of the DCs and MCs are looking for reappointment. Well, the league table shows that some of you, they're more near their crowd. Anyway, congratulations to the Ransford Kofi Owusu MPP Sojaman constituency treasurer. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. And also happy birthday to Miss Jane Akosia Miheso of the Early Beach Resort in Tegbi. You are phenomenal. And when we visited there, we experienced your phenomenality. So we are happy about it and we celebrate you. Happy birthday to you, Jane, and keep working for God and country. Thank you to Honorable Al-Hassan Suhini, is a member of parliament for Tamale North constituency, and also to Eko Vincent Asifwa. He is a member of parliament for the Old Tafo constituency. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your comments. And also connect with Sonar Fashions in Tamale. He is at Kuko America Hotel, 0246 590 162. He's got something special for the man and woman going places. You can't miss that. Kuko.
Wow.
So the U is silent.
Yes.
Okay. Kuko. All right. Okay. We'll see you after the break.